So I know this is a very big topic, and I take it whatever direction you want. You'd brought up this notion of the collective unconscious, which fascinating, like super cool. Could you tease that out more for the audience? Like explain in whatever way you're comfortable about what it is and how that really connects to the work that you do.
So in Jungian model of the psyche, we do place archetypes on that collective unconscious level. And if you think about archetype, when you hear the word, it combines two patterns together. Archetype is something that is archaic and typical. So it's the oldest part of our psyche, older than consciousness itself. And it's archaic and it's typical. That means that it goes across the humankind. So everyone has it. A good example of an archetypal expression are fairy tales that are bringing an archetypal message across the culture, which can be similar. So you may have an archetype of the hero, which one culture organized fairy tales, stories in specific way in Japan or in Mexico or in Middle East. They will have an archetype of the hero that is dressed in a specific form. So stories are touching, coming from the unconscious, from the root of the archetype, through the cultural, and then to the individual. Think about Star Wars.
I do all the time.
Amazing example of the hero journey based on the Joseph Campbell story, who was very deeply influenced by Jung. So you do have this incredible story of a Jedi warrior that is passed, and the knowledge and the mysticism of that connection to the source, which they call
the Force.
The Force. The Force is an amazing expression of an archetype of the self.
So how does that connect to the work that you do with clients?
I do listen to the individual stories, and I try to differentiate in which myth are they currently in. Are they in a redemption story? Are they in a sacred marriage story? Are they in an ugly duckling story? And then I would see, via that differentiation of the personal narrative, I would go deeper and then see how to bring something that was potentially traumatized in them as person back to the source, using the Campbellian or the terminology from the Star Wars, how to connect them back to the Force, to the source, to the original wholeness, no matter how you're going to call it.
So if you just say, again, it's a big question, what's the goal of your work? What's the goal of your work?
Consciousness.
Consciousness. But what does that mean?
I will base it within the Jungian model of the psyche. So at the base, you have always the unconscious. And from that, consciousness is being born. And during the process, many disturbances may happen. Development happens itself. It doesn't really have to be pejorative. It can be actually very positive. Development happens. The personality needs to be differentiated from the unconsciousness. And the more you're able to differentiate, the more conscious you're becoming. So it's a process of discrimination, really. You're trying to differentiate what's mine and what's unconscious.